start drafting. What if I accidentally hit simulate? That would be awful. All right, so the Colts with the #1 selection, we talked about it. Are they going to pass on Allred? They have Andrew Luck, but Andrew Luck greatly struggled last year. It's going to be interesting to see what they decide to do here because, again, if we're looking at the draft board, Allred looks like an outstanding player. They didn't take him.
If I can use only one
Milburn.
word to describe this guy, it has to be intensity. He's the kind of player a coach can rely on to give 100% effort out on the field every down. He has a switch knowing when to turn it on and play mean, but also when to cool off. There's always a concern with the tough guy type.
Then we get some love in the chat with the Twitch Prime sub. Thank you so much. Throw some love up. I appreciate that. Milburn went 1. Wharton went 2. Hubbard went 3. I don't think I scouted Hubbard. I did scout Wharton. He didn't stand out. He's a red zone wide receiver. But that's a good pickup for them. Thank you so much for that Twitch Prime sub, though. I really appreciate that, man. So much. We're getting close to getting back to 100 subs, which will mean 2 more.
Tell us about the Giants.
2 more emotes.
He was having a relatively quiet season this year, but we all know how one big showing can quickly turn things around. His late-game heroics and Hail Mary went down as one of the greatest moments of the entire season. Since then, he's continued to show a knack for stepping up his level of play.
Can you guys hear the stories all right?
And was able to pull off a string of impressive victories, each time increasing his draft stock. Some say you can only capture lightning in a bottle once, but I believe he can do it again. And apparently, his team does too.
So the Giants getting a replacement for Eli Manning. Now, I do think Eli Manning's still there. But interesting to see Lloyd, the right tackle, going to the Jets, or right tackle going to the Jags as well. The Ravens are now on the clock. They have struggled both seasons of this franchise. It'll be interesting to see what they do. Really, they haven't gotten great play from Joe Flacco, to be honest. So
are now on the clock.
Y'all can't hear it at all. Hold on. Pause draft. Let me try to turn it up for you guys. I could hear it, so I assumed y'all could too. League setting? I don't think it'd be under league settings, would it? I didn't see anything for sound. Where would sound be? Do I have to, I don't want to go like to the main menu to do that. Don't see it. How could you guys could hear it last time, right? Oh wait, some people are saying they can hear it. It's audible. It's very... Yeah, let me try to figure out how to turn this up for you guys, because I want y'all to hear all the draft stories as well. Do I need to go to the main menu to do it, though? I think I might. Because I don't see... It's weird they wouldn't have that option here. It's not under league settings. I can't imagine it be under team settings. So I think I have to go to the main menu. How is it that some people can hear it and others can't? Some people can hear it, others can't. Let me save this really quick. And let me just see if I can turn it up. Because I want you guys to be able to hear it. Alright. Save it really quick. It's going to autosave anyway, but just to be certain. Go to the main menu really fast. We'll get right back to the draft. What do you guys, while we're doing this, what are you guys wanting to do with our first pick? Another Rice. Oh, nice. NICM. I don't know what NICM means. Nickum. There's another Nickum? Alright, anyway. Resume draft. Hopefully the draft stories are back and loud for y'all. Here we go. Take Veal and trade up for Strobel. That might be a decent idea. It depends if we think... I think Veal could be a good outside linebacker, and especially with Mike Morgan, not the same player.
Can you tell us about their newest player?
If you watch his college tape, you'd think he's purely a runner and a pass blocker. But what he showed at the Combine was an ability to also be a factor in the passing game. Matt Miller reported he ran through the entire route tree, looking sharp in each of his cuts. He did a great job hauling in most of the passes thrown to him, showing great body control and reliable hands. The team likes his dual threat capability, and I'm sure they're happy to have gotten him with this pick.
All right.
Eagles have made their selection. For more
Another
about
running
it,
back.
Let's go to Adam Schefter.
English may not be his first language, but one thing is for
Both
sure.
guards?
This
What do you
kid
mean? We
can
have
play.
Garnett.
Despite only recently moving to the States, he's played American football for years and was one of the top athletes in collegiate sports overseas. He jumped at the chance to play in the NFL and used his final year of eligibility to play for a program here in America. The decision so far has paid off for him.
I liked
as he was one of the
Westbrook's.
most fun players to watch in college this season. And now his dream has been fulfilled, landing on an NFL team with this pick. But the journey has just begun, and we'll see what this European phenom can do in the big leagues.
The Chargers are now on the clock.
There should have been a draft story on Westbrooks. I really wanted Westbrooks. That was the player I was looking at. His speed didn't greatly impress me, but he was clearly the best corner in the draft. What up, PMC? How you doing today, man? It's good to see you again. But what do you mean we definitely need guards? We have Jason
Seahawks are now on the clock.
Garnett. Joshua Garnett, not Jason. All right, we're coming up on our selection at number 17, and here are the Seahawks within our division. The first rookie we're going to get to see twice a year. And where are they going? I'm nervous about this.
Seahawks pick is in. Adam, give us the latest information.
That's
on this guy.
good.
He's a Heisman-winning defender. Let me say that one more time. He won the Heisman, and he's a defensive
He did
player.
not look like a good
You guys say
player.
more? You can imagine how well he played this season to win the biggest award in college over several offensive playmakers. The trophy was well-deserved, and according to Matt Miller, he projects really well as a defender in the NFL. I think this is a home run pick, and it's great to see a defender get some well-deserved recognition.
Vandermeer did not look good at all. He won the Heisman, but I think he graded out as a 3rd or 4th round talent, and even then I thought that was being fairly generous.
The Raiders are now
So
on
we got a break with that. All right, the Raiders are up, and it is time to make our selection. Here we go. The corners are off the board there. The safeties are still there. And Veal is
Adam,
still
what
there.
Can you tell us about the Raiders' newest player?
He kicked off the offseason with one of the best all-star performances among defensive backs this year. How well did he play? As Matt Miller described, he simply took his matchup out of the play each and every time. The quarterbacks did their best avoiding him throughout the day, throwing to the other side of the field or the check down read. After he made such a big impression at the All-Star game, he backed up his play with a fantastic showing at the Combine and Pro Days. The team has to be grateful he was available at this point in the draft, and it didn't waste any time scooping him up.
That was a player I did quite like. That was the guy I was considering. All right, so our trade offers. We got a first next year that's not just any first, but it's projected to be the #1 pick. Now, this is weird because the Bears just made the playoffs. We know they have Danny Whittington. I don't think it's going to be the #1 pick. Next year, a first and a second, another 4th this year. The Seahawks want to trade back up. I don't know if I want to trade with the Seahawks, though. The Saints, who no longer have Drew Brees. Oh, wait, that's this year's. I was thinking it was next year's first. It's this year's first. That's not worth it. Redskins, first, second next year, and a 4th this year. Raiders, a first and second next year. First, second, 5th. I don't know. I mean, some of these first and second next year deals actually are not that bad. They're not that bad. But let's go ahead and see who all's available first. Hunger, right? Go App State. I can't believe they missed that field goal, man. Woo, I was nervous. I was so nervous the game was going to go into overtime, and I was going to have to push the stream back further, which I really didn't want to do at all. So that made me nervous, but at the same time, I was like, well, I can't not watch the overtime game. I was worried, man. That's the quarterback with A+ throw power, but there's somebody else I like more. So, our options right now, outside of the trades, Malcolm Sparks. Now, my idea with him would be potentially moving him over to play linebacker. He's got okay bench reps at 21. Not great, but it's not awful either. He can tackle okay. He's got decent pursuit, and he's got decent zone coverage. What I need is a good linebacker defending tight ends. I need a guy who can keep up with him. He has good speed, good height. He's only 22 years old. Worth keeping an eye on. The other guy, Tajay Veal, 23 years old, 6'6". Now, he is a defensive lineman, but I would move him to outside linebacker. He's got 4.61 speed, 28 reps, good pursuit, good hit power, good finesse moves. That could be another option there. Is there anybody else that really stands out? Thomas Worthy, maybe. Good tackle, good hit power, decent block shedding. 22 years old. Not the best combine, but it's not the worst either. Let's see. So those are some of our options. We don't really need Parker Rich anymore, so that's off the board somewhat. Don't need the tight end. Eubanks, 36 reps. Decent speed as well. It's a guy that might be able to do well on screens if we felt the need. But I think there were some other guys that we quite liked anyway later on. So those are pretty much what I'm considering at the moment. I'd love to hear what you guys think. Maybe we can get a straw poll. Let's go back and look for the trades. If one of the mods could create a straw poll, that would be fantastic. But as far as trades go, first, second next year from the Bengals, and a fourth this year. That's a great offer. Don't really want to trade with the Seahawks, but I kind of do want to trade with the Seahawks. Only because I'd be interested in seeing them having 2 first-round picks, and that would make more interesting series between our teams. But ultimately, they're probably going to be pretty good next year. It wouldn't be worth it, I don't think. Redskins, first and second next year from them. They do have Denton Ritchie, though, so we got to consider that. They might be a lot better next year if he actually starts for them instead of Cousins. The Jets, a first and second from them. That might be a very high draft pick. That could be. I don't know. Cowboys, a first next year, a second this year, and a 7th next year. So I can maybe use that second this year to go ahead and take Austin Schobel on top of getting a first next year. So that's actually something else to consider as well. What are y'all thinking? Everybody, it looks like everybody wants veal. Looks like everybody wants veal for dinner. Alright. You guys have asked, and did we even have a straw poll? I don't even know if we need one. Everybody's shouting veal in the chat. Everybody's looking at Tajay Veal. Michigan State, 6'6", 23 years old, 4.61 combine. Let's go.
The Rams are now on the clock.
79 overall, quick development, number 10 overall in the draft. We got him at 17, 86 speed, pretty solid tackle, good finesse moves, decent strength there. All right, let's see what else we got. Here we go. And again, we're trying to move him to outside linebacker. 85 hit power too. Definitely something we could work with here. Definitely something we could work with here. We needed a new player to step in as our main pass rusher because, again, Mike Morgan really declined in the offseason, so this seemed to make sense, and looks like he is going to be another good player for us to add to our defense. Now, we're going to go to the second round. Once we get into the second round, really depending on how these quarterbacks go off the board, because to this point, only one quarterback's been taken, I believe. But I do need to get into the second round to take Austin Schobel there. But we do need to keep an eye on these guys as well to kind of see when they go off the board. That might indicate when we actually need to go ahead and take somebody or trade up. So, resume draft, and this is the Rams. So again, another player within the division on this pick. Let's stay tuned, see what happens, because we will be seeing this rookie play quite a lot here.
Adam Schefter has the inside scoop on Worthy.
Worthy.
Was he?
This guy was a monster at the combine and looks like the hard-hitting linebacker this team is hoping he will be. As Matt Miller described it, he was a machine on the bench press and didn't stop there. His vertical and broad jump numbers were among the highest of any position. He's a physically gifted linebacker that can play any down on the field without ever taking a play off to recover. He's the kind of defender coaches love to have and offenses will hate lining up against.
Oh, man. That looks like a really good pick for him. He looked like a good player. He really did. I would have considered him more had we had more of a need at middle linebacker.
Their pick. Adam, I love their pick of Chapman. What can you tell us?
A veritable interception machine. He holds his college's single-game record for interceptions in a game, snagging 3. Scouts pointed to an almost 6th sense when the ball was in the air, and Matt Miller had him ranked as the top defensive back in the draft.
He didn't look that good, though.
True lockdown defensive backs are few and far between, And this is a pick that should solidify this team's pass defense for years to come. It'll be very interesting to see if opposing offenses go right after him, and how if he shows any rust after being avoided for much of his final year in college.
Wow. He didn't really look that
Bears
good.
are now on the clock.
I remember scouting him. I think he graded out as like a third-round talent, and his top 3 skills indicated that was the case. Sparks going to the Falcons, though. That is the other player that I was really looking at. Right tackle going to the Panthers. We did see Orr retired. Was he a free agent? Did he? I think maybe he was a free agent. I don't know.
The Texans are now on the clock.
Antoine Street going to the Bears, though. What? The Bears drafted Danny Whittington last year. He has superstar development. What are they? Ah, Madden logic, though.
The Cowboys are now on the clock.
He looked very good. Deloach did look very good. Here are the Cowboys.
The Bills are now
Going
on
with
the
the
clock.
cornerback. I don't remember how he
Bills
looked.
just made their pick. Adam, what can you tell us about him?
He was always a player who cared about academics, and that couldn't have been made any more clear when he decided to forego his senior season in order to take on more classes. His goal was to graduate before entering the NFL draft, and at the sacrifice of his final year of football eligibility, he was able to pull it off. The decision left some experts scratching their heads, but guys like Matt Miller saw it as a smart move to stay injury-free and remove the distraction of getting his diploma once he went pro. At least with a degree, he has a backup job now in case this whole football thing doesn't work out for him.
Interesting. Highest overall I've ever
Adam
drafted.
Schefter has more to say about
Not
this.
entirely. I don't remember.
Successes and failures seem to go hand in hand.
It's all been on
in a
stream, though.
very
You guys have seen
inconsistent
it.
Season for him. Leading into his pro day, scouts expressed a great deal of concern over his inability to string together consistent positive
Grove did look good.
performances. Those who
Patriots
attended
adding
came
more,
away
man.
Extremely impressed with his raw physical abilities and footwork, feeling that with time and proper coaching, he could develop into a formidable NFL lineman. This pick may not pay immediate dividends, but it's a solid investment in the future of the offensive line.
That is a good pick for them because Grove did look very solid. I think he was a very good pass blocker. So with James Vallejo there, it makes
Are
some
now on the
sense.
clock. Adam, what can you tell us about that last pick?
Well, he hasn't gotten a lot of attention from the media. His name has been circulating around the front offices the past few weeks. To find out why, I spoke with Matt Miller. He told me his performance at the
Did I
combine
ask XP?
caused them to go back and look at his game film one more time. And what they found was his team made a scheme change in his final
Steelers.
season that forced him to shift to a new role he wasn't exactly comfortable in. To draw a comparison, they looked at his first 3 seasons before the change, and he looked like a much different player. The speed and level he played at matched what they saw him do back at Indy. He rose up draft boards across the league, and they're very lucky to have picked him up before anyone else could.
A run on quarterbacks there. I might need to trade up now. He's projected to go in the 3rd round, but quarterbacks just got taken there. Philip Rollins, the guy with A+ arm, going to the Steelers. I mean, I understand them finding a replacement for Roethlisberger, but Roethlisberger just had an outstanding year. And then, of course, the Saints just let Drew Brees go after winning the Super Bowl. They're going with Keaton there. I think we need to go ahead and try to trade up. And funny enough, it's with a team that we made a few trades with last draft. Obviously, we traded Torrey Smith and Eric Reed over to the Colts last year. It didn't work out for them. They struggled greatly. But they don't need a quarterback. I mean, they made it pretty clear they're going to stick with Andrew Luck. I did not mean to do that. So, I'm going to need to make a trade with them. I was not planning on trading this high up into the 2nd round. And I guess it makes sense, but I'm just more nervous about it now that there's not a single quarterback ahead of him. So, picks. Look at all the 2nd round picks they have. I think we traded them some of those. All right, so what do I trade to move up? I could trade him a 2nd next year. I don't know if they'll go for a 2nd, a 3rd, and a 4th, but I can move it up to... I don't think that's going to happen. All right, we're just out. So let's take away the 4th. Let's add another 3rd. Because I have 3 of them anyway. Do I have any extra thirds next year? I do not. So, we'll add another third. Let's see. They're not going to do 2 thirds and a fourth. They wouldn't do a second, a third, and a fourth. Ugh. Gosh. Okay, what about the better third round pick? It's 4 spots ahead. Nope. Well. Why y'all saying trade Lynch? We need outside linebackers, but I might have to. They're not taking the... unless I traded 2 seconds next year. I really would prefer not doing that. But it looks like I'm going to have to. If I do that, I might be able to keep my thirds this year, though. Or I can always trade one of my thirds for a second next year anyway. So what about this? Oh, they're not feeling that at all. They're not feeling that one at all. What if I did 3 thirds? I wonder if they're valuing a pick this year more than a second next year. I don't really think there's anybody there. I'm trading way too much. I have plenty of picks, though. It's not like, you know, I don't have a whole lot of needs I could do with them, especially because we're really not seeing a strong draft here. So I'm not as concerned about it. 2 seconds in the highest third? I mean, I'd rather just do 3 thirds if I could. No, I don't know, man. Alright, so they need a defensive tackle, middle linebacker, and cornerback. Let's see. I doubt they'd value Hodges very highly. Oh, they do value Hodges highly.
Well, if you're wondering what the delay is, I think we've got a trade coming here.
Wow. I did not anticipate that at all. I was literally just straight hitting trade just to kind of see how far off the value was. Like what? I was just going to see how far I had to go for the, what? I don't know what the Colts are doing. I mean, really, it's not like a super awful trade. It's pretty bad for them. But they did get a third. They just kind of traded down for 1 round for Hodges. They needed a middle linebacker. I don't know. I have no idea. I am confused. I did not see that coming at all. At all. Is there, maybe there's not a middle linebacker available? Forsey's still down there. Boy, I don't know. I don't know, but we know what we're doing. We know what we are doing. This is revenge for Jabbar Gray. I won that trade, though. Boy, I always trade with the Colts. The Jabbar Gray trade was with the Colts, wasn't it? Where I got Devin Golden. They've helped my franchises out a lot. Austin Schobel it is. 6'2". I wish he was taller. 23 years old. I wish he was younger. But A- throw power, B+ throw on the run, B+ short throw accuracy, 4.61 speed, an excellent combine all around. Here we go.
The Vikings are now on the clock.
72 overall with quick development. I definitely thought he was going to be higher than that. I am shocked. I'm very shocked he was not higher. But he does have quick development. He's got 86 speed. His awareness is really what's holding him back. His short throw accuracy is amazing. His medium throw accuracy is pretty solid too. His deep throw accuracy, not so much. But that's great speed to have. He's got good throw power. It's really the awareness holding down his overall. Agility 91, acceleration 88. I am pretty happy. I am pretty happy. There we go. I did think his overall would be higher, but his accuracy is pretty much what I anticipated anyway. So, regardless, if he had a better awareness, his overall would be better, and we could change that easily. So, I'm cool with it. We got Austin Schobel. There we go. It's going to be a quarterback competition between the two quarterbacks of Kessler and Schobel there. We'll have to see who does better in the preseason. All right. Here we go,
All right,
Vikings.
Adam Schefter, who's got more on this pick.
A consistent performer his entire college career, he went out on a high note in his final game, recording 3 interceptions and being named the player of the game. General managers have been simply drooling over the opportunity to draft him, with one telling me he's as close to a sure thing as there is in this draft. He'll have plenty of opportunity to showcase his coverage skills this season, as he'll likely line up against some of the NFL's most elite wide receivers.
Better than Richie? Richie, of all the rookie quarterbacks last year, Richie really did not look that good. Based on his stats. Like, obviously his player looks very good, but the other quarterbacks, like Zach Lindsey, James Vallejo, Houston Church, they all looked outstanding.
The Jaguars are now on
And I think he had 7 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Richie, that is.
The Ravens are now on the clock.
Here we go.
The Jaguars are
Down the list. Not getting any draft stories. Mac Hackett. I like that guy's name. Right in for the Browns.
The Buccaneers.
Did I miss any division teams? I wasn't paying attention. Does not look like it. Doesn't look like it. I'm trying to find out who in our division is being drafted here.
The Chargers are now on the clock.
I do not think this was a great draft, though. Like, I'm not seeing a bunch of names and I'm like, oh, I wanted him. That's just not how I feel about it right now. We picked Tajay Veal in the first. And there you go. The Cardinals going with Conrad. So, wide receiver for him. They have plenty of wide receivers anyway, but I guess they want another. Even Trace Ash looked very good for him last year.
The Rams are now on the clock.
Powell. There's... Did the Colts really just draft a middle linebacker? I just traded you a middle linebacker.
The Jaguars are now on the clock.
Hitchens going to the Rams, a free safety, so we'll see a lot of him.
Are now on the clock.
Cochran going to the Jags.
Chiefs are now
Kraft going to the Buccaneers.
The Panthers are now on
Chiefs
the clock.
getting Scantlebury. What an awesome name for him.
The Bears are
Panthers
now on
going with Cates there.
the Packers are now on the clock.
Bears traded it to the Saints, who picked up Yancey.
The Cowboys are now on the clock.
Packers going left outside linebacker Killings. Cowboys
Bills are
right
now
outside linebacker Pryor. What up, Elmers? How you doing today, man? It's good to see you
Cardinals are
again.
now on the clock.
Let's see. Keep Veal defensive line. You do understand we have Armstead and Buckner on the defensive end, right?
The Eagles are now on the clock.
All right.
The
We need
Lions
outside
are now on the
linebacker. That's what we need. Like, badly. Cardinals taking another wide receiver there. Savage. Ooh. I guess Fitzgerald's no longer with them, so I can see them trying to replace him, but Trace Ash looked very good for him last year.
The Cowboys are now
Freeney going to the Lions. Here are the Cowboys again. Going with the right tackle. They already have a great defensive line, though, or offensive line. What up, MTE Brink? How you doing today, man? Jerry Rice or Joe Montana? I mean, Jerry Rice. Somebody asked me earlier, but we got a draft story, so I couldn't say. Steve Young or Joe Montana. I think Joe Montana was probably the better quarterback, but I grew up watching Steve Young, so I prefer Steve Young personally.
The Colts are now on the clock. The Vikings are now on the
Here
clock.
we go.
The Browns
In the
are
third
now on
round.
clock. The Giants are now on the
All
clock.
right.
The
The
Jaguars
Titans
are
going
now
with the
on
wide
clock.
receiver. Running back to the
Titans
Jags. They had
are now
Cleveland
on the
last
clock.
year, though.
The Eagles are now
Another
on the
wide
clock.
receiver there to the Titans. All right,
The
back to
Dolphins
back.
are now on the clock.
Eagles going with a left
The
end.
Buccaneers are now on the clock.
Seahawks trading up for a defensive tackle. They already have plenty of defensive tackles, though. They had a first-round pick defensive tackle last year, didn't they? Then they had Jaron Reed,
The
too.
Chargers are
I
now
don't know what
on the
they're
clock.
doing.
The Raiders are now on
All
the
right.
clock. The Browns are now on the
There we
clock.
go. We're at 81. So the Colts are at 80. That was the pick we traded them.
The Lions are now on the
Watch
clock.
them take the player I
Colts
want.
Are now on the clock. The 49ers are
All
now on
right.
the clock.
Pause draft. And I could trade away a pick. Let's see what offers we have before we make a decision here. What up, O Fields? How you doing today, man? All right. The Browns series, I've just had a lot going on. We'll try to do the Browns again this week, guys. I'm sorry. I've really had a lot going on lately. But I will try to do something like that this week. So we can get a second rounder next year. Which I didn't even trade any of the two. I have 2 seconds already, so I don't know. Not really seeing anything that makes me feel like I should trade. I could trade with the Colts again. It's worked out well for me before. I mean, I really don't... Let's go ahead and see who's available. None of those trades really stood out to me. There were some okay ones, but I don't know. All right. So, 4.53 speed. What does that come to for Adonis Parquet? Because he's got good catch in traffic. So if you're a slot receiver sending him over the middle, that could be good. Regular catching's not great. Spectacular catches. Speed really doesn't stand out a whole lot, though. Demetric Durant. Good catching. Good catch in traffic. Spectacular catch, just awful, though. And again, all these wide receivers just never play out well. Marcus McLaughlin. Now, this guy was actually a draft story, but really doesn't look worthy of drafting to me. I do like his tackling, but otherwise, eh. If we can get a straw poll for what y'all would like to do with Veal, though. I want to move him to outside linebacker, but I am interested in seeing what you guys would like to do there as well. Jack Ivey. Looks like a good player. I don't really need him, though, because we did sign Austin Seferian-Jenkins, so that's not as important for us now. Maybe 4.68 speed's not great, but good zone coverage. I mean, look at this. What if we... I don't know what his tackle is, but this could be another guy that maybe we could try at middle linebacker. I need better coverage at middle linebacker is what I'm really thinking. Let's see. Yeah, Hunger, I'll try to do it this week, man. I'm sorry I've dropped the ball on that again. I've just had a lot going on lately. Here we go. Can we get a straw poll for that? Anyway, what else do we got here? Quincy Buckhalter. Great strength here. This was the guy that I was thinking about drafting and moving to defensive tackle. But I did like the other defensive tackle later on in the draft, but... I mean, good tackle, good hit power, good block shedding, but his strength really stands out. He's a 4-3 defensive end, but I think he could play defensive tackle for us. Really, though, 38 reps is outstanding. It's great to see that. Here is Tank Goff. Now, this is another guy that we looked at, but really not seeing a whole lot here that I like in his combine. I do like his 40-yard dash, but nothing else stands out a whole lot. Straw poll of whether or not to keep Tajay Veal at defensive end or move him to linebacker. Here's the thing. We need an outside linebacker in the worst way. We don't need a defensive end. So I don't understand why we'd keep him at defensive end when we already have good defensive ends there. And we don't really have a good outside linebacker that can rush the passer now that, you know, Mike Morgan is getting older. So that's kind of it's kind of like making a position you're already solid at stronger. And keeping a position that you're weak at. Just keeping it weak. I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me. Alright. And then there's John Forsey here. This is the guy that won All-Star Game MVP. I do have another pick coming up. So what I might be able to do is take Forsey there. Are you guys wanting to... I see a lot of people saying take Buckhalter here. You guys want to go Buckhalter? We'd have to move him to defensive tackle. But the reason I don't want to do that is because, and I'll show you, at defensive tackle, I really freaking want this guy. Where are you at? Marcel Cody. 38 reps as well. Good power moves, great size, good hit power, good block shedding. I mean, I kind of like Marcel Cody more. Let's see. Yeah, that's 7th round. The undrafted middle linebacker, right? So that would be my reason for not going that route. Which was it? This guy down here? Look at this guy. Guy's outstanding for an undrafted player. The majority of the people are saying to move him to outside linebacker, which is what I think. That's what I think we should. I mean, we already have good defensive tackle or good defensive ends. It doesn't make sense to move one of them around and I don't know. Let's see. This guy does look solid though. But what do I do with him? I mean, we already have obviously Sean Kendall at strong safety. I don't love his speed though. Again, I might be able to move him around, but if I moved him to linebacker, what about the other linebackers that I like a lot? You guys, I mean, if we might as well just draft best available, right? Because none of these guys are perfect fits. We don't really know how they're going to pan out. Might just make sense to draft best available, and that might be Buckhalter here. And still pick up the other guy later on. They're saying he's a mid-third round talent. They're saying the same thing here as well as with Tank Goff, too. What if Tank Goff might make the most sense? I don't think he's as good as the other two, but he's a 3-4 pass rusher, which is really what we're in the market for anyway. Now, obviously, we're trying to move Tajay Veal over there, but I don't really know how sold we are with Aaron Lynch either. A lot of people are saying to take Forsey. I could take Forsey later, though. I'd rather get one of these third-round talents that are projected to go in the 4th round and then take... Because I'm picking again in like 4 picks. I'm picking in like 4 picks. Let's go Buckhalter, and then in 4 picks we'll go ahead and take... We'll take Forsey, I think is what we'll do.
The Rams are now on the clock.
70 overall. 81. He's ranked 81. We got him at 81. 91 strength, 83 tackle, 80 block shedding. And again, we'll try to move this guy to defensive tackle. 75 speed, though, to go with 91 strength is pretty impressive. Overall, I feel like he looks a lot better than a 70 overall. I'm really not understanding how he's a 70 overall. His awareness is low. Play recognition is low. Hit power is solid. I mean, this guy looks pretty good, though. I don't understand why he's only a 70. 91 strength, 75 speed, 75 power moves, 80 block shedding, 83 tackle. I don't know. I don't know why he's only a 70. I guess because of his awareness and play recognition. His stats overall look fairly solid, though. I'm okay with that. And we'll try to move him over to defensive tackle. Hopefully Forsey doesn't go here.
The Jets are now on the clock.
All right, so we're back on the board. And you guys all wanted Forsey, so let's go ahead and take Forsey. We do need another middle linebacker just in case, again, we saw the injury take place to Navarro Bowman last year. So we got to be prepared in case something like that were to happen again. And we should get a draft story with Forsey.
The Chiefs are now on the clock. All right, now that the pick's in, let's go to
Boom!
Adam, what can you tell us about this guy?
This is a player that many felt could be a solid role player in the NFL, but not a dominant force. That train of thought changed after one of the best defensive performances the college All-Star game has ever seen.
Oh,
At
man.
times, it seemed as if he were everywhere on the field during the game, disrupting both the run and pass game for the opposition. Several scouts I spoke with pointed to that performance as evidence he could dominate at a high level, and sources have told me that more than one general manager felt he was the type of defender you could build a franchise around. Now all that's left for him to prove is if the All-Star game was an aberration or a sign of things to come.
I am a 49ers fan, yes. And look at that. Clutch, high motor already. I need to improve his coverage a little bit. That's something we're going to need to work on because that's really our biggest weakness. I wish he was a little bit faster, but I mean, 82 speed, not the worst thing in the world, but really good hit power. I mean, this guy sounds like a leader. There we go. There we go. I'm more than okay with this pick. Very cool. I will take it. All right, so let's go down the list a little bit more.
The Panthers are now on the clock. The Bears are now on the clock.
I love getting a draft story player too. Did we get a draft story player last year? I don't remember.
The Rams are now on the clock. The Bills are now on the clock.
All right. So where do we go next? I think we have 3/4 as well. There goes Fontenot.
The Packers are now on the clock.
Oh, and the Cardinals got a tight end despite having Philip Muhammad. Why you do this to me, Cardinals? how much sense does that make? The Rams are going to take Jordan. So those are some players we're going to have to keep an eye out on, obviously.
The Bears are now on the clock.
Did Gresham retire from the Cardinals? Is Philip Muhammad now the #1 tight end there? I don't know. Let's see.
The Vikings.
We don't have a lot of development. If that's something you guys want to see, maybe we could do that.
The Vikings are now on the clock.
Here we go.
The Texans are now on the clock.
There goes the quarterback.
Jets are now
What is
on
that
the
guy's name? Elimimian? Elimimian. Can you imagine if I had to say that for every single time I made a throw? Elimimian. There's no way. Like, what if that happened? What if we, like, saw a guy that is clearly the best quarterback there, but he had some super wonky name that I was going to stumble over every time I said it? Like, I couldn't pass on the guy.
To hear more about the player.
Mid-season struggles look to have doomed his draft prospects as he put up lackluster numbers in several consecutive games. As a result of his consistent poor play, several scouts decided not to show up for his pro day. When word of this reached draft experts like Matt Miller, he began free-falling in several influential mock drafts. Scouts that decided to attend his pro day were treated to a show of sheer athleticism. They saw a player that looked like he had a chip on his shoulder, one scout even telling me that seeing the negative media attention may have been the wake-up call he needed to take his game to the next level. He now will have the opportunity to prove his doubters wrong in the NFL, but a part of me wonders whether or not he'll play with the same passion and intensity once the doubters are silenced.
Wow, Tank Goff sounds like a good player. Sounds like a little bit of an attitude problem,
The
but
Titans are now on the clock.
inconsistent as well,
The
maybe.
49ers are now
There's
on the clock.
McLaughlin. I thought he was a draft story. Maybe I'm wrong. Could have sworn he was. All right, anyway, here we go. Let's go ahead and see who I've not scouted, but watched. See if any players here stand out, where we should go. Cassidy Revis. Really not liking his speed there. I don't know. The center, I don't know why I would watch that. We already got a middle linebacker. A horrible second two skills there for DJ. Vladimir Mallard actually looked okay to me. I mean, his catching's not outstanding, but he's got okay speed. I know they're saying undrafted, but he's projected to go in the 6th round. Like, they're not even there yet. The other guys that I liked are all way down the list. Now, here's a good player. Not good at pass blocking, but I could develop that. He's only 22. We could use him on the bench in the meantime. 38 reps is really what impresses me there, though. Marcel Cody, I really want this guy. I really want that guy. Zone cover, his combine's not great. He's okay. He's got some speed there. The other guy, 38 reps, great run block. This is actually the better option of the two. Now, we're going to have to plan this out because there are a lot of guys in the 7th round that I really want. I say a lot of guys. Really, I want Tevin Lucina out of NC State, and then I want Dwight Gaston out of Western Michigan. So, and then I want Marcel Cody. So I should probably, I mean, I need to take him with one of these picks, right? I don't know if there's anybody here that I really need. I'm looking around. I'm not sure where to go. We're in the 4th round. Let me see how many draft picks I have, actually. Let's go back over here. Because I think I have 3 picks in the 4th. I do. Alright, so I have 3 4ths, 2 5ths, a 6th, and I do have 2 7ths. Okay. But there's, like, nobody in this range that I like is the issue. Alright, so how many picks do we have left? We have, what? 8 picks left? Gosh, we don't need 8 more players. We have 8 picks left, right? So let's go ahead and go to watched. Let's go back over here. Let's count the ones that we really want. So, 1, 2, 3 that I very much want. Vladimir Mallard, I mean, if we have 8 picks, we might as well take a chance on him. I understand that they're saying undrafted, that he really doesn't look great. But his catching's okay. He's got some speed. He might be a solid slot guy for us. Might take some time to develop him, but again, if we have picks to use, we could take a flyer on him. Don't really need Buck Morton. He looks solid, but again, we just drafted 4C, and then I kind of like the guy way down here more than him anyway at middle linebacker, so that's not as important. Taking another outside linebacker just in case could be a good idea, but 4.92 speed, I mean, it's just really awful. Oh yeah, practice squad as well. That's very true. That's very true. His speed, he's way too slow. That's like beyond normal slow. I feel like that's just like, yeah. I mean, it almost looks like he'd make more sense as a defensive end. I don't know. And their combine's just not looking good at all, really. What is your speed? 4.53 speed. That's not terrible. He's not near as fast as the other guy, but he does have better catching. It's just a matter of if we think we could develop the other guy's catching. Because the other guy's a lot faster. You guys are all saying Revis, but his speed. We already have backup defensive ends, though. I quite like Ronald Blair, and I quite like Taylor Hart, who we just re-signed to be the backup there. I don't want the center. He only has 24 reps. It's not outstanding at all. Gosh, his zone coverage is great, but just nothing else about him looks good at all. Let's see. Somebody's saying Earl Vickerson, but what about him looks good? Like, his third trait's only a C. That's not outstanding. Nothing in his combine looks good at all. Even he couldn't survive at free safety. His tackle's not near good enough to be there, I don't think. 4.54 speed, 4.60, 4.55. Durant's 22 years old. Let's see what the straw poll's saying. See what you guys are thinking here. You guys want... Why do you want Cassidy Revis? If you guys can explain to me why you want a super slow linebacker, I'm willing to listen. I agree. His top 3 skills look solid, especially for this point in the draft, but 4.92. Alright, Vladimir Mallard is catching up. I mean, we might be able to get both of them, to be honest. Looks like we'll probably be able to get both of them. Cassidy Revis is winning. If you guys want him, you know, I said show up and I'll let you guys make some decisions. So if you guys want him, we'll take him. I do think he could be a solid player. The only concern I have is his speed. That's it. It tells a rough estimate of the speed. But you guys are voting. You guys want Revis. Let's take Revis.
The Dolphins are now on the clock.
72 overall. 76 speed. Actually, it's not that bad. Not near as bad as I was thinking. I was thinking it was going to be like 68 or something like that. So 76 is very solid. I'm cool with that. 82 tackle. It's not as great as I'd like, but it is good. 85 power moves. All right. Once we get his awareness and play recognition up, could be good. His zone coverage is 69. I definitely need to improve that. But overall, not bad at all. Solid option for the options that we had. I don't really feel like this is a good draft later on. So to get a player like that's very good. I did like Brazil's name. Not getting a lot of draft stories lately, I've noticed. I feel like last year we had a lot in the mid-rounds.
The Raiders are now on the clock.
All right, so now we might take a chance and just go ahead and take the speed wide receiver. I understand there's a lot of question marks with him, but we might be able to develop him into a good player. He's got 4.40 speed, good catching, like not good, but like average. For a rookie to have 3+ C, you know, 3 C+ traits. If you look at these guys, you're seeing C, you're seeing C, you're seeing C. This guy has more, but he's not near as fast, is the thing. Again, same thing, not fast. This guy, however, is 6'6". So Sean Dye, 4.54 speed, I don't know what that comes to. And then Durant, 4.55 as well, but again, C. So, could be the next Gayton. I like Durant's name, but Vladimir, I like Vladimir. I like that his name is Vladimir. Look at Quentin Bragg. I didn't really scout much. 4.43. He's 24 years old, and I don't know what any of his skills are. This guy's only 22. We can develop him. I think we could develop this guy okay. Everybody's saying Durant just because of Kevin Durant, though. You don't have a reason for selecting Durant. Again, like if you were going that route, you just as well take this guy. His catching's not as good, but his spectacular catch is better. Do you guys want Durant? Got another straw poll. Durant or Mallard? I do want to pick up another wide receiver. I said coming into this draft we need more wide receivers. Durant wouldn't fit into a slot very well, I don't think, though, is the thing. The other guy fits what we need more. Because we already have Sneed, we already have Dimitri Todman on the outside. Mallard is currently winning. I think Mallard might make more sense just because of that. Let's go ahead and take Mallard.
The Rams are now on the clock.
64 overall. Woo! That's a rough one. 93 speed, though. And his catch, we can work with. We can definitely work with his catch. Obviously, we need to improve his route running as well. Release and awareness. Like, all the things that this guy struggles with are things that can easily be improved upon. He does drop passes. I think any of these wide receivers would. They all ranked out terribly. However, 93 speed cannot be taught. Everything else can be taught. And again, route running, awareness, release, 3 of the easiest things to train. So I think we can make do with this guy. I think we can make do with him. We'll be alright. I have faith. Alright, here we go. Whoops. What did I click? Okay. There we go.
The Colts are now on
Down the list. There goes
The
Vickerson.
Chiefs are now on the clock. The 49ers are now
All
on
right.
the clock.
Let's see. And if you guys want to take Durant too. But again, like all these guys, if you look at them, they're all grading out as undrafted talent. So for anybody that thought we were going to get a 75 overall, it just probably was not going to happen. All the wide receivers. This guy's actually not grading out that way. He's grading out as a 6th round talent. His spectacular catch is not good though. Was there anybody else that I needed to take here? Part of me, I just want to go ahead and take Cody. I don't even want to risk it with Cody. Let's go ahead and take Cody here. He's the other player that I really wanted coming into this draft. He just makes too much sense.
The Raiders are now on the clock.
78 overall, quick development, 15th overall in the draft. We got him at 119, 94 strength. 94, good power moves, good block shed. His acceleration's very solid for his size as well. 71 speed, decent tackle. Could be improved upon though, but overall high motor as well. That's the best thing you can have on the defensive line too. So very solid player here, big hitter. I thrilled with this. Thrilled. We got both players that I really wanted coming into this draft. And I will take it. I think Cody's going to be a very good player for us. He might take over Dial's spot at defensive tackle right off the bat. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Here we go down the list. Next, Lawrence Taylor.
A fundamentally
They don't
sound
play the same
offensive
position.
lineman whose last collegiate season was ended prematurely by a nasty ankle injury. He's a guy who has the potential to become a centerpiece on the line for years to come. If there's one point of contention about him, it's that after talking to several of my sources, there's a significant worry about the strength of his surgically repaired right ankle. The original injury happened when the ankle appeared to buckle while he was not engaged, raising some serious questions about leg strength. He's been known as a bit of a power lifter with exceptional upper body strength, leading some strength coaches to openly question if this explosive lifting is putting additional stress on his leg joints. He looked good at the combine with excellent lateral movement pushing off the ankle in question. We probably won't know how well that ankle holds up until about a year from now after he's been through the rigors of an entire NFL season.
All right.
The Redskins are now on the clock.
Here we go. There goes Chansey.
The 49ers are now
All right, back on the clock. Saints taking another quarterback there. Makes some sense, though. All right, so let's go back to watched players here. And 38 reps. He does not have... I think this guy's better, though. Yeah, this guy definitely looks better. I mean, I get that he's projected to go into the 7th, but if anybody else sees what we see, he's only 22 years old, excellent run blocker, 38 reps. I think we need to go Tevin Lucina.
The Giants are now on the
77 overall, ranked 20. We got him at 131, 92 strength, 86 run block, 79 pass block, 82 impact blocking. Oh, man. And once we get his awareness up, he's just going to improve. 65 speed. There we go. I'm cool with that. I am cool with that. That run block, though, is solid. And that's what I wanted. I wanted to increase our offensive line. The thing is, I really don't know, like, I know everybody's saying you need to take a guard, but you got to remember, we have Joshua Garnett already. He's still very, very young. And his run block is 85. Like, I don't think this guy is going to be a starter for us right now, but certainly a guy that maybe in time, honestly, geez, Warmack's not that great anymore. This guy has better blocking outside of impact blocking than Warmack does, but we just signed Warmack. I don't know. We're going to have to look over that. Why would I start him over Garnett? Garnett is still very young and better blocking stats already. It wouldn't make much sense, I don't think.
are now on the clock.
You don't take a guy in the first round just to bench him like 1 year later.
What can you tell us about him?
Well, he was creeping up draft boards around the league until he took a big hit late in the season that knocked him out for weeks. Unfortunately, when
it's not a good draft.
Lights went out, he was
Toasty.
still rehabbing from corrective surgery. Without his combine numbers, it became difficult for scouts to compare him with other players in his position group. His pro day didn't help much either, as he looked much worse than he did before the injury. I've heard from a source that the team had a workout with him where they did their own evaluation of his health. I guess they must have liked what they saw to have just drafted him now.
It's really not a good draft. We're just selecting the right players. I think once we look at everybody's draft, you guys will see it really wasn't that
The
good.
Titans are now on the clock.
All right.
The Dolphins are now on
There
the clock.
goes Durant to the Eagles.
The Chargers are now on the clock.
Here's a player that will be within our
The
division.
Buccaneers are now
Left
on
tackle Holly.
the clock. The Jets are now on the clock. The Raiders are now on the
Brad
clock.
going to the Jets. All right, here we go. And 17th pick in the 5th round. Again, back to the watch list. And part of me wonders. Like, I still have question mark. Well, I think they'll be okay. I'm trying to figure out, where do we go here? I really don't think I need to draft Gatson yet. I really do think I can wait on him. I'm not too worried about it. His pass block is terrible. And I don't know if I need another guard. Like, we already have guards. We have depth at guard now with that last pick. So it might not make sense to take him. Middle linebacker, we have two. We have 3 middle linebackers right now. 3. And I'm planning on drafting another one. So I really don't think we need to take him, even though the value is clearly there. I don't know. His man and press are terrible for Starling. Let's see. Even if you move him to safety, his tackle's clearly garbage. Like, he's only 5'11". We already have plenty of safeties, too, is the thing. Get Essex. You guys want to take a shot on Essex? You guys want to take a shot on Essex? 4.48. I'd rather go with the 6'6" guy with better catching. I know his spectacular catch isn't as good, but he's 6'6". He's more speed. What are y'all thinking here? I'd get too confused over here. 4.60. What are you? No, he's much slower. Let's see. Where do we go? DeWalt? You guys want to do DeWalt? The Tool Man. What? Got that Tyson Russell name too. I'm not taking Merriam. He's just, like, I get it. You guys want him because of his name. But he's just not as good as the other wide receivers. I'm not going to take, like, a bad selection for that. It just doesn't make sense, to be honest. So, we're not doing that. Let's see. You guys want to do DeWalt? I wish it's spectacular. Like, I do like that this guy's catching is better across the board. This guy might... Well, I don't know. Let's see. This one's close. Starling is actually winning. Who's Starling? Really? Why? Do you guys not see his man coverage and do you guys not see his press coverage? I don't get that at all. Like, whew. I do need another corner, but that's just, why? If one person can give me a single reason as to why his zone's not going to matter if that's the only thing he can do. Like, if he can't tackle a guy, if he can't press, if he can't be in man coverage. Sterling Schmarling. Move him to safety. We don't... Develop him behind who? We have youth at safety. We have Sean Kendall at safety. We have Deron Venable at safety. Like, we have so much depth at safety anyway that, like, we don't need another safety. We just don't need a safety. Corey Essex. Let's go Essex. Wait, let's see who else is on that. Essex and Sterling are tied. We're going to go Essex.
The Rams are now on the clock.
64 overall, 87 speed, 83 catching. That we need somebody. We need some receiver. And again, I don't really think this is a good draft, so there we go. All right. We need to improve them, but might be able to find some time. Hey, no worries, Jamie. Take it easy, man. Thank you for hanging out tonight. Thank you for doing some straw polls as well. I appreciate it, man. Hope you have a great night.
The Raiders are now on the clock.
Here we go.
The Titans are now on the clock. The Lions are now on the clock.
Whenever I hear Toolman, I think of Tim the Toolman
The
Taylor.
Cowboys are now
Does
on
that
the
mean
clock.
something else to other
The
people?
Bills are now on the clock. The Patriots.
Starling went to the Bills, so we can go check out the Bills after the draft, and you guys can see just how bad he is. Unless, of course, he's terrible and I look like a huge idiot. Maybe that'll be the case, but even for the people, again, saying to move him over to safety, I mean, look at this. You're saying to move him to safety, but if you look at our safeties right now, we have Sean Kendall and Tart. Both very young, both a lot better than that guy. And then over here, I had DeMarcus Savory there, but he might actually be a better safety with his zone coverage of 86. But we also have Venable. We also have Jimmy Ward, who just made the Pro Bowl for us. So, I mean, we have plenty of depth at safety as it is. It's really not that big of a need. Oh, I see what you're saying. The tool brand. Okay, I got you. But yeah, we just don't need a safety. The only reason I was talking about drafting safeties earlier was to maybe move them around to linebacker or something. Anyway.
The Lions.
Here we go. But we will check out the Bills.
Are now on the clock. The Raiders are now on the clock.
All right.
The Vikings are now on the clock.
I might draft that middle
The
linebacker.
Texans are now on the clock. The
Here we
Jaguars
go.
are now on the clock.
I haven't
The
seen
Titans are
the
now
other
on
middle
the
linebacker that looked really... He had to have gone, though, right?
clock. The Dolphins. are now on the
Scasia looked pretty good. The defensive tackle that just went to the Titans.
clock. The Buccaneers are now on the clock.
All right. No more draft stories by the sounds of
The
things.
Seahawks are now on the clock.
There we are at
The Bengals
177.
Are now on the clock. The 49ers are now on
All
the
right.
clock.
Let's see. Middle linebacker. Did anybody ever post Artie's channel? I hope somebody did. Dwight Gaston. I want to go ahead and take him here. I like him a lot. We don't need a middle linebacker. Maybe I can move him around to try to find a way to get him on the field. I know we don't have a lot of depth at outside linebacker. So maybe, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what we can do once we get them all situated and look at them.
The
But
Vikings are now on the clock.
66 overall, that's okay. 87 speed, 81 tackle, 76 block shed, 81 hit power. We need improvement on his finesse moves and power moves. Play recognition, obviously. But this guy does have potential. He's clutch with a high motor, too. Definitely some potential here. Definitely some potential here. I don't study the blade. The blade studies me. Thank you, Bama. Thank you. All right.
The Jaguars are now on
Here
the clock.
we go down the draft. We are
The
getting
Chiefs
towards
are
the
now on
end.
clock.
We had so many
The
draft
Bills
picks.
are
My
now on the
goodness. So many.
The Rams are now on the clock. The
right.
Cardinals are now on the clock. The
Do I have another
Broncos are
second?
now
No,
on
I
the
think I have 2 sevenths.
The
So we'll
Steelers
just
are
move
now on
through
the clock.
quickly here.
The Buccaneers are now on the clock.
All right.
The 49ers are now on the clock.
Here we are. Get the wall. We've already drafted 2 wide receivers. I don't really think we need another. Because they're kind of fighting for spots anyway. But if I don't see anybody that stands out here a whole lot. Lacey Sutherland. I don't know. Could be worse. I think I got the majority of the players that I really wanted. Let's see, watched. Lacey Sutherland might be the way to go. I mean, I don't know that we're getting anybody really good here, but... Alright, WX, I appreciate that, man. We already have 2 tight ends that we're very happy with, though. So I don't really need to move him to tight end. We already have Shaquan Fryer, and we just signed Austin Safarian Jenkins. We don't need a running back because we have 2 running backs that we like, a third guy that we like as well. Phillip doesn't have a good bench press at all. Only 28 reps, and again, we have a lot of depth at that spot anyway. So I'm not thinking... Lacey Sutherland, look, we have players that we might want to move to outside linebacker. I don't need a fullback. How many fullbacks do you want a team to have? We already have Olawale. I really don't need to even consider drafting another fullback. If I can trade a freaking 7th rounder for a 4th? What? The Saints just lost Drew Brees.
I see both teams filling out cards. You
They
know what
see
that
somebody
means?
they really like, I guess. I don't know.
The Giants are now on the clock.
All right.
The Jaguars are now on the clock. The Jaguars are now
There just
on
wasn't
the
much there.
clock. The Dolphins are now on the clock. The Buccaneers.
Sutherland
are now
just
on
went
the
to the
clock.
Jags, it looked like. Was it the Jags? Yeah.
The Jaguars are now on the clock.
Here we go.
The Raiders.
Merriam
are
just
now
went
on
to the Bills. So the Bills got a few guys we were looking
The
at.
Rams are now on the clock. The Lions are now
All right.
on the clock. The Lions are now on the clock.
Here we go. Let's see what we can find. We might just go funny name here. Funny name or Appalachian State. Let's scroll down the list. Let's scroll all the way down the list. Maka and Nunwa. I love this guy's name. I love it. Alright, let's scroll down the list. See what we can find. This guy has good zone coverage too. His tackle's terrible. But pretty solid zone coverage for a 7th rounder. That tackle though. Ugh. Alright. Going down the list. The Anthony Kendall. It's Sean Kendall's brother. What? He went to Navy? Alright, scrolling down the list. I'm looking for Appalachian State names. You guys can look for the funny names, and we can decide together who to take. Sowell? Not seeing any Appalachian State. Wedderburn. Come on, Wedderburn. Oh my gosh. I really wish there were better corners in this draft. There really weren't, and that let me down because I was really planning on drafting a corner, but I just didn't see anybody that I really liked. They were all pretty slow. Reggie Milliner. That is so close to Reggie Miller. So close. What else we got? I missed Appalachian State. I think I stopped looking. I was looking at names too much. Lennox Fort. Lennox Fort. Boom! Appalachian State, though. Dylan Diamond. It sounds like a male stripper. Oh, gosh. Diamond in the rough, eh? Am I right? No? Okay. Sorry. Going down the list. Going down the list. We'll try to find the funniest name that you guys can do. Ittersagan? Smoot? Don't need another Bethea on this team. Everybody is saying Diamond. Everybody wants the male stripper. Alright, let's do it. He went to Appalachian State too, so you know I'm cool with it. But does he not sound like a male stripper? He has a good combine. I mean, he's got good speed. Dylan Diamond, though.
The Packers are now on the clock.
66 overall. That's really not that bad. I mean, he's 178. We got him at 215. 89 speed. Zone coverage needs some work. His hit power is okay. I mean, this guy, maybe we could I don't know, move him to linebacker. I don't know. It's okay catching. His press is actually pretty solid for a safety. Hit power's alright. Jumping's good. Alright. There we go. On to the end of the draft.
The Cowboys are now on the clock.
Down the list, there goes Kendall.
Cardinals are now on the clock. The
All right.
Saints are now on the clock.
Saints had a
The
lot of
Steelers
late round picks
are now
there.
on the clock.
Punter going to the last pick of the draft.